Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a deeply moving and honestly, absolutely crucial case study about how fast false death rumors can spread online. We'll be looking at media literacy through the heartbreaking, real-life timeline of two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, Kyle Busch. It's a story about the sheer speed of the internet, the massive impact of that speed, and the harsh realities we're all facing in this digital age. So what actually happens when fake news collides head-on with a real tragedy? It's something we rarely want to think about, right? But we really have to. I mean, imagine the emotional whiplash here. An entire community is grieving the loss of a sporting hero, then they find out it was literally just a digital hoax, only to face the harsh, verified truth of his sudden passing just days later. How do we even process that? And how do our online spaces react?
Section 1. The Anatomy of a Rumor. How a sinus cold sparked a digital hoax.
Okay, to really understand this digital phenomenon, we've got to go back to the Watkins Glen NASCAR race in early May 2026, just weeks before the actual tragedy. During the final laps, Busch simply radioed his team to ask for NASCAR doctor Bill Hiesel. But almost instantly, fans watching the broadcast started wildly speculating. You see, they remembered his severe leg injuries from a crash back in 2015 and another recent off-season accident. And within hours, that speculation completely mutated. Search engines saw massive spikes for phrases like Kyle Busch obituary and Kyle Busch passed away. A completely measured request for a doctor rapidly spiraled into a massive, unfounded death hoax.
If you listen to the exact wording of that radio call, it's literally just a driver asking for medical help. As it turned out, Busch was simply battling a stubborn sinus cold and needed a shot to help clear it up. But the internet took this totally mundane, everyday reality and spun it into absolute chaos. Section 2. Debunking the false alarm, the truth behind the trending hoax.
Thankfully, as these false reports were spreading like wildfire, the actual truth started to catch up. Official channels and team sources had to immediately step in to shut down the rumor mill with hard facts. Fox Sports confirmed it was just a sinus issue. Busch even finished the race in 8th place and walked back to his team bus completely fine. And most importantly, there were absolutely zero official statements or obituaries from his family or Richard Childress Racing. The death reports were entirely 100% unfounded. Then a lighthearted social media update from his wife, Samantha Busch, dropped, and it was exactly what the NASCAR community needed. It brought this massive wave of collective relief to the entire Rowdy Nation fan base. And, at this point, the story really seemed over. It was just another crazy internet rumor that got debunked by the facts. Section 3. The Tragic Reality Verified. When the unthinkable actually happens. But then the narrative took a stark, devastating pivot just days later, right before the huge Coca-Cola 600 weekend in Charlotte. And I want you to contrast the profound difference here. On one hand, you had the chaotic, speculative nature of an unverified hoax fueled by panic. But on the other, the heavy, somber reality of a genuine tragedy. There were no wild hashtags driving the narrative this time. Instead, there were formal withdrawals due to hospitalization, followed by official joint statements from NASCAR, the team, and his family, confirming a severe medical emergency. Tragically, on Thursday, May 21st, 2026, the two-time Cup Series champion passed away at the young age of 41 from an undisclosed severe illness. The man who had survived horrific high-speed crashes on the track was suddenly gone, and it left the entire sports world in absolute shock. Just a few days before his passing, right after his record-extending 69th Truck Series victory at Dover Motor Speedway, Busch actually spoke these words. At the time, it just sounded like a veteran driver appreciating a win late in his career. But now, those words carry a haunting, devastating weight for everyone who supported him. You truly never know when the last one is. Section 4. Contrasting the fan reactions. The emotional whiplash of Rowdy Nation. The NASCAR community was forced onto this brutal, emotional roller coaster, moving from sheer panic to relief, and then straight into profound, verified grief in just a matter of days. Fellow driver Denny Hamlin shared a reaction that perfectly encapsulates that shift in tone. The frantic search trends and wild speculation of the prior week were entirely replaced by genuine human grief, shock, and a massive outpouring of love for Kyle's family. Section 5. Our digital ethical responsibilities. Lessons in media literacy from a real-world tragedy. This timeline isn't just a story about racing. It serves as a really visceral case study on the ethical responsibilities we all share when we participate in online communities. how we handle information matters immensely. The crucial point here is this: we absolutely must remember the human element. Behind every trending name, there is a real family. Kyle Busch left behind his wife Samantha and his 2 young children, Brexton and Lennox. When false reports get amplified for clicks or out of some unfounded panic, it causes intense emotional distress to the actual people living that reality.
So to honor those impacted by these events, here are some actionable steps every single one of us needs to take on social media. First, wait for the family to speak. Second, check the verified news outlets. Stop yourself from hitting share on a panic-inducing post if you don't actually have the facts. And always respect the medical privacy of public figures. We have got to ensure that we're not contributing to the dangerous spread of misinformation. Ultimately, an individual's legacy should always be honored with verified truth. Kyle Busch achieved a staggering 234 victories across NASCAR's top series. He was a polarizing, brilliant, once-in-a-generation talent, and that legacy deserves to be remembered accurately, grounded in reality, rather than overshadowed by the chaotic noise of internet rumors. So as you navigate our incredibly fast-paced digital world today, I want to leave you with this. How will you handle the next piece of shocking, trending news you see on your feed before you hit that share button? Ask yourself, are you taking the time to verify the facts, or are you simply adding to the noise? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Stay curious, stay informed, and always seek the truth.